Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game 3, Round 3 of the series here. This is going to be 120 SPM versus Freakbob's Fenthouse. I am NekoboyBlue, joined in the co-cast booth by Scape GT.
Hello.
Team 1 ANS is going to be 120 SPM, consisting of Solace, Backline Fan, which is Notes, Mildly, and Iris. You want to tell me who's on Team 2?
Yep, Team 2, we got Freakbob's Fenthouse here, Cosmic Eradicator, Spy Eye, and Lost Leviathan here. We are deploying here on Tombstones. This map was chosen by Freakbob's Fenthouse, who did lose the last one. Total is 1-1. This is the deciding match here. Taking a look at deployments here, looks like 120 SPM is doing their Topaz strat here with the amassed low-cost capitals, beamstones, and capper assets, all deploying relatively low here. Not a lot of stuff high up.
Change up. We had a bit of a false start as the server had a bit of a hiccup there, and we called for a rehost. Bit of an error on our part. Sorry about that. ANS now coming along with a carrier, switching it up from their what was previously 6 Axfords. Now looks like it's 4 Axfords, a battleship, and a carrier, along with their cap fleet consisting of a bunch of beam destroyers and corvettes.
On OSP's side here, I'm still seeing the Moreline brought by, or the real Cosmic, the 100 mil obelisks. Are we still using those? Yep, 100 mil obelisks by the fake Cosmic. Spy Eye is still on the camp fleet, and I am seeing in
like
a cello
in there. Yeah, all right.
A cello pair. No, that's an Acello pair. Brought by, looks like Lost Leviathan there, who has a slightly incorrect fleet tag and makes it easy to see what they're bringing.
All right. Just waiting on one of the Cosmic Eradicators to ready up, and we'll see where this goes.
Knowing the Cosmic Eradicators, this is a deliberate strat to just make the thing as long as possible.
All right. On deploy, I'm watching one of the 250 liners come in. Do you want to read off ANS or OSP?
You do ANS, because you were starting with that before.
All right, fair enough. Tombstones is a pillars-like map, 2 natural points per side, so let's see what they brought. Notes is coming in here with a levy, the bonus oceans. This has 8 bombers, a sundial, and then a handful of fighters. Only a dozen fighters in this, so that is going to be their carrier.
Relatively cheap levy to make room for the rest of the fleet.
Yep. Missing one hangar bay potential there. They've got a beam destroyer deployed down low, very cheap on this thing. A beam destroyer overwatching Seaside. They've got one towards the B point, and lastly a naked fringe capper, completely empty. Actually, completely empty of everything, not even including the mag on that one. Iris has got themselves a 450 battleship with a launch pad on the backpack slot there, usual cheeks, antenna, comms jammer, etc. Missing the top half of this thing as they're keeping out as well. This is Parallax, not a track-correlated spyglass. They have got themselves a beam destroyer covering the C point here. They've got 1, 2, 3 naked cappers, 2 of them Seaside, 1 going towards B. Mildly comes in with the first of the, what do you even want to call these, like, bulked up voxels?
These are
bosses.
Pit bosses. Pit bosses, I believe, is the term for these.
Yep. Very cheap on the damage control, but at the same time, these are incredibly beefy health bars that you can tank a lot of lighter munitions with. We'll see how effective it ends up being. 2 of them, along with a beamstone, a naked capper air, first in their deploy zone, and then they've got their launch pad fighters getting up. Solace, similar style fleet, might actually be the same fleet. Yeah, looks like we got a duplicate of these Axfords here, although they've got a beam destroyer and only 1 fringe capper, so slight different tech there. That's going to be the ANS.
Taking a look at OSP, the real Cosmic here is the one who brought the carrier. This is lots of bombers, lots of Barracudas. I'm seeing some R2 Piranha rockets in there. Not as much as a dedicated Piranha Strike strat, but still enough. Those bombers are going to have a heyday against those capitals. Up next, Cosmic is bringing the same 100 millimeter obelisk liner fleet they brought in the first one. 200 mil liners here. No complex and no restore reinforced DC lockers. That's going to be really rough, with 2 Ruddles spread across the map for some rushes onto the enemy. Levy with the front line here. We have double Acello up top. Pretty standard build by the looks of that. Raider drive, Whiplash. Yep, pretty standard stuff there. These are deploying high. And lastly, Spy Eye with the cap fleet. 250 liner with rocket backpack.
Hello, that's going to be a sucker punch.
Interesting. A early warning tugboat up top, and a Ruddle, which is already under fire underneath a rock here as Solus flanks low. We also have one other Ruddle on the flank, and the rest of the fleet is gun cappers and one cringe capper here.
All right. Interesting deployment here. OSP not bothering to go for A point, knowing that there is going to be beam destroyers overwatching. Oops, audio crunkle. Hang on a second. That's my audio end. Sorry about that, folks, in the recording. Just let me fix that real quick. Minor technical issue. There we are. That should be back to normal. There we are. All right. Yeah. Listen, chat there.
So-
Martyr of Carrick saying, rocket liner, my kind of beloved. Yeah, would you please give the rocket launcher some gun depression so we can obelisk them correctly?
Anyway, so
to work.
talking a little bit about the Topaz fleet comp tech here. This is a totally integrated fleet comp style of building here. The idea behind it is that everyone supports every front of the engagement, both frontline and the cap war. The cappers are split across all the teammates, which means that there's less pressure on a dedicated cap player, and the frontline can more easily do double duty there. And the fleet is designed to work in conjunction with the other ships here.
Ruddle
Spy
commits
gets a
underneath the map, trying to get
onto an
shots out,
here.
and actually has a
Couple
couple
of
impacts.
hits.
Not getting through the armor, though, and they will die to 120 RPF very quickly. Interesting little tech on these Ruddles. Mount gyros in the yard drive to try and do a bit of dodge dance and angling there. This is going to die very quickly to all of that RPF. Has a reactor bloom going on as well, so potentially may catch those Axfords if they get too close.
These Axfords, I bet, are just going to continue their push. This push low underneath is likely a way to try to put pressure on any backline that OSP has. Levy up top, starting to re-pivot the Acellos, likely going to try and pivot them back. Crimson from Cosmic Eradicator is a...
This is air
ASF
control with
by
Saw,
Yep,
AT
it's
frag,
getting
Illumin
beamed
pod.
currently right now by Iris, as one of those Barracudas, curiously enough, takes a little bit of beam fire there before dying. That incredible.
Probably was just a damage tick thing, not quite lining up. We always have a little desync with fightercraft. 120 RPF will pepper them a little bit here. Beam as well catches another one here. The XXL Aurora is in position. There we go. Another one taken down.
We have a fighter engagement on the flank here as Dragoon Squadron wipes out Bolt Squadron there. Bolt was the escort for these bombers, I believe, but the close range saw S1s shatter that coil gun
taken out
squadron.
From that. Broadsword flight of bombers, R2 Piranha rockets, and R3 Spearfish. These are just your kind of standard rocket strikers. They will get found by Duster in a moment here.
These are likely going to commit onto the Beamstone, although that Beamstone has 6 Tontos guarding it. Adamant staying back in reserve, although has been target locked, and
Daggerflight secondary is on standby. They are on the interdiction duty
to support the engagement from Broadsword. As Broadsword, although it is going to go down here, they do manage to get a strike through. Pretty inaccurate, though, against this Beamstone here.
Can we talk about maybe the jamming there from Daggerflight coming in, it causing those to whiff badly with poor track quality on that?
Could have been signal error, yeah. Adamant now withdrawing.
Strike attempt, and the carrier sees them off. This is part of the importance of having a carrier or other strike.
Reactor bloom!
Told you it was going to go through. One of those is going to get cooked. Two of them decently toasted.
One of them, its armor is pretty degraded. Unfortunate start for ANS right there, as one of their Axfords is completely armored down, completely negating the point of its existence.
Can we talk just about the number of heavy cruisers under this map? They are going for the underside safari like you used to see in Pillars back in the day. That is 4 Axfords, 2 of which have been decently torched. That 100 mil liner, if it can get into arc, is going to have a field day. Same with the 250.
Yep.
The 250 liner with rocket backpack against these weakened armor panels.
Osnapar has already pivoted onto Solus's Axford here, the one that was guarding A, and you can see that Fake Cosmic has already pivoted their other liner down through Echo to try and intercept these Axfords here. Meanwhile,
Plasma
Levy
starts up on one of them, gonna find purchase. Maybe, rockets coming
Adamant
out here
Squadron strikes with the rockets. They fire at the one that has the armor stripped.
And that's a lot of damage. Many of those actually getting wasted because of the empty compartments from the tops. No, actually, the strip's upside down. Never mind.
On the bottom, yeah. That knocks out the CIC too, which means that Axford is unable to support this engagement against this 100 mil bulker here, as it gets really nasty broadsides into Solus here. The Axford, though, is a pretty tanky ship, even if it is a cheap ship.
A-Cap
it does able
goes
to,
on
yep.
now. Spy Eye drifts onto the
Yeah.
point. Beamstones are not quite in
Ooh,
position
the
yet.
beamstones are being suppressed by the Acellos up top, are able to just keep 450 fire on them and keep them tracked and under fire. A might be able to go through there,
One
though.
beamstone does have
Mildly
arc here, but they're not
is-
quite. There it is. Finally gets the latch on at the last second. Flat facing here, they managed to tank it with the mag for a second, but CIC
Ooh.
does get sniped. Will
There
they
goes the
survive here with
drive.
a small...
No, not
Nope,
with the
small
beam
gets
on them.
gunned
Nope.
out.
Yep. Valiant A-Cap attempt. Not
Does
gonna
explain
work
why
out
we
here.
didn't see the A-Cap attempted in the first place. A lot of fighter engagement going on down below. Talon flight here in the backpack slot. Those coil guns going to clean up one of the scouting skips there. A lot of RPF going to try and see off the other one. 100 mil exchange here from Cosmic as they're getting
Hornet
peppered by
Squadron.
250.
Ooh. Hornet Squadron is ASF diving for the escorting fighters here to probably open the thing up for Foxhound here. Foxhound is torpedoes, piranhas, and KBU-22s. If those get purchased, that's a dead Axford right there.
OSP wisely holding back their bombers right now. They know that once they clean up this fighter escort, most of these Axfords have
the
little
double
to no
engagement from the 100 mil obelisks on one of the Axfords here. Unfortunately, Plasma did not get bite enough on this Axford for that 100 mil to pin, although I believe that these Axfords are probably...
Plasma's starting to add up on the one face
right
now.
Plasma
Hornet
being fired a bit
in the mix.
late.
Lightning Flight on standby nearby with their own coil gun. This is becoming a bit of a furball. Foxhound commits while the fighters are tied up. One of Talon Flight is still alive here. Might go for the intercept. Coil gun, I believe, should two-tap a bomber, but they'll run out of ammo before there's run out of bombers. Talon gets jumped on by
now
fighters.
Tied up, finishing up Dragoon here. Dragoon gets in close range with the 20 mil.
20 mil against these coil guns. Coil gun,
fighters.
if it can get the snap, will one-shot a fighter here, but it's
and
just been a very weird
STM-200s
fight.
from one of the obelisks in support of Dragoon here, as Dragoon, a heavily damaged squadron that's out of missiles. I think they're going to mop up Lightning here, despite Lightning being a Coil Tonto squadron. Very impressive fighter engagement there
Foxhound
from
gets the
Cosmic.
dump. There is Torps out
These
on
are
target.
torpedoes.
Arad Val on most, if not all. Nope, some of them are Thorn
Radar
Val.
not off! Radar not off! As Solus did not MCOM.
That is
One of those
actually
torpedoes
not
are gonna
that bad.
hit.
Most of those get hit into
Foxhound
the
is
tower,
gonna follow
I
up.
think, or whiff.
Foxhound's gonna follow up with the bombs. No, never mind.
Bombing run
They are
here,
going
actually
for
committing
the
on
other
target
Axford.
since there is no point defense on these
point
full green.
defense, no dedicated point defense on these Axfords means that these bombs are probably going to get through as this Axford. Oh no! The RPF! The 250 RPF from the supporting
Fratricide
Axford
in
cleans up a
effect.
lot of
One
those.
bomb finds its way through.
One bomb
Will
is gonna
impact
find
center
its way
stack,
through.
takes out
Guts,
small locker.
yep.
Potentially going to see this thing DC killed here as they're restoring their belly gun. Hornet Flight taken to the skies again. They're going to see off these ANS fighter craft there. ANS not having the staying power. Coil guns running out of ammo, and their health bars are gone. A lot of action taking place underneath the map here as the 100 Maliners have isolated Solus pretty far down here. Solus beat up badly.
Right.
Needs to take some time to repair, but
Mildly holding position by A.
Spy Eye gets a
it
ruddle
should
into the
be-
back line. Notes potentially okay here. Does get the beam and survives it.
Ooh. There was an early track on that ruddle, probably, and...
Looks like they took out one
yep.
of the other beamstones. Judging by the life pods about 40, 50 seconds ago here. Might have been a second
yes,
strike.
that was likely ANS's indication that there was a ruddle there, although the loss of a beamstone is still a valuable gain for the OSP team here. The Acellos still up in the top, really unsure about what they really want to be engaging right now, I think.
The Cellos want to put pressure on, but they're just not quite
the-
sure where to go given the
They were
situation.
dealing with the BB. The thing is, the low push here with the Axfords, although the Axfords are now out of position, so is OSP's A denial tools here. As you can see, these obelisks and stuff are busy engaging the Axfords, not guarding A. ANS not really capitalizing on that, though, as they mostly stay back with their cappers. Their cappers are pretty valuable in this team comp. Not a
Torps
lot
out
of them.
from the bombers on ANS, but they will get killed. That means the CMD may not go through here. No track held for Cosmic Eradicator.
Although they're going to blind fire with the 2 hits. This thing cannot be taking torpedo hits like that.
Yeah.
It has no ability to restore after a devastating hit like that.
We saw in the first round there, this ship was crippled by a torpedo strike. They got very lucky this time around. The nose of the ship not
Assassin
taking a hit.
Squadron commits onto Mildly here at A-Ride Val from, like, A-Ride Val range. Those are going to hit. That ship did not MCOM, and that is another Axford crippled as
surprisingly, some of those missiles just straight whiffing. I'm wondering, were those...
Those were Therm Val. Those were Therm Val. So mildly failed to soft kill the A-Ride Val, but the Therm Val they did properly soft kill by pulling back, so they went for chaff.
Looked like they had just gone completely wide there. I'm wondering if those maybe were set to reject or something. Assassin Flight comes in for the flank with R2s, lining up for a bombing run here.
Those are the bombs. To the RPF attempting to cover. Will it kick in, or will these hit?
RPF rounds go wide, targeting the bombers instead of the bombs.
They're firing at the bombers, and that Axford's going to take some massive bomb hits.
Crippling damage. This thing's combat ineffective.
Cosmic doing a really good job of dropping those bombs.
Shrapnel Flight in the back line going to find torpedo strikes onto Cosmic Eradicator here. This is going to get tanked mostly by the snoot of this liner. Let's see how this impact goes through.
Will it be enough, though? This thing has no reinforced DC. Ooh, it does tank.
Very lucky tanking on that.
Very, very lucky. They cannot take a follow-up hit, or that liner is screwed without any reinforced DC. The battleship, though, you can see here, Iris has actually pivoted fire to supporting those bombers. Target lock on Cosmic's 100 mil liner obelisk there, and is trying to get the finishing blow there. Rocket Squadron commits onto the bombers, making sure that they do not return home. The Acellos, once again, just kind of not really.
Acellos and Battleship exchanging fire for the moment, but they quickly retask, realizing they're doing nothing to each other.
Here comes the Atlas Secure from ANS. I was wondering when they were going to try this. The 100 mil obelisk relatively out of position to deny that. Busy with the Axfords, although they have gutted the Axfords quite a lot. They are way mispositioned.
Spy potentially had an arc there, but unfortunately not the case right now. ACAP may go through here. Both teams have been tied on points and caps at the moment. Spy attempted to push towards B, but got seen off by a beam that did not have lock, so it missed on the bad track quality.
Cosmic's 100 mil obelisk that could be guarding A. It is rolling. Will it get gun on target in time? That is already halfway to the cap. I do not think it will. I believe that this is likely going to
detects
be
on A point. Notes apparently confused what their coil toes are doing, because they're dogfighting incredibly poorly here. Rocket Flight is going to clean up.
Although, look at this.
That is going to be a kill. ACAP, though, is locked, is getting shot by Spy Eye as they come around the corner. Not in time.
Enough. It's a cringe capper. It will survive. Unguided bombs out from Claw Squadron here. Those will likely be dodged at that range. Cosmic trying to dump those as early as possible to try to get the kill. But yeah, no.
Spy Eye forced back from some of the flank angles there. Was not in position to cover this. Same goes for the Cosmic Eradicator 100 mil liners. ANS sneaks the ACAP, making this now a 3-2 game, but OSP has been taking some very good fighter engages. ANS gotta be bleeding on the craft count. Taking a quick look at the carrier, it is empty. What you see, what you got.
Whoa, yeah. The only fighters that ANS has left are the ones in the air right now. Cosmic doing an excellent job of winning those fighters engagements, even against those coil toes. It is now OSP's game to use their fighter advantage to try and dislodge those beamstones into allowing them to get an A attempt here. Although Mildly has double 259. Look at this! Backline fan notes, gets the flank with the beamstone onto Cosmic's 100 mil obelisks. That thing flanked around. Spy Eye attempting to help with the 250 liner as well as the other 100 mil obelisk here.
Cosmic Eradicator getting eradicated middle of the ship, going for the no restores left. DC complex not found.
Yep.
That
is beamstone is just gonna
That's a 4.8 kilometer strike. Gonna call that. This liner should have survived had they gone to the DC complex. Instead, decided to try and do the greed angle, double storage so you can restore all of your guns. In turn, they're gonna pay for it. Notes will lose their beam destroyer here, but still that is a trade up in the points department. Spy Eye and Cosmic will be able to capitalize on this.
Taking a look at this as well, the BB has pushed into over A, forcing the Acellos back. The Acellos curiously staying as a group. They should have probably split up early on to try to get crossfires on the BB, but they have not committed on that. Shrapnel commits a strike onto a beamstone on A. Yep. That is a beamstone dead at A, although there are still 2 Greedfords and a battleship, as well as 2 more beamstones in the backline overlooking A right now.
Talking about the Greedfords angle, though, Mildly is effectively on one Greedford. The other one has, well, it's got a pair of Mark 61, so this thing is just a super large Capper Corvette. The still alive Greedford is the one that has absolutely no armor. Solace was seen off in the bottom side of the map, and they are looking pretty beat up, although they can recover a little bit. One of their, almost called it a liner. one of their Axfords is decently put together now, just needs to get into the fight. This is still a very weird game. We are currently 404 to 374
game right now.
board.
Both teams have advantages and disadvantages. We will see which ones pay off in the end. Right now, mildly friendly firing Iris's Cringe Capper there, trying to get 250 RPF into Battery Squadron, which is flanking around with torpedoes here. No, not torpedoes. These are R3s. Mamba Squadron is ASF. Gonna try and support the push into one of the beamstones here. Although Mamba flies into the point defense arcs of the BB.
Battleship
Mamba immediately diverts.
Ooh, almost gonna catch them. It does get a little bit of scraping damage on one fighter, which goes down.
Kills one. Battery trying to get around here to get some of those beamstones down, although the 250 Axfords are still going to be a problem for OSP here. Most of OSP's liners, although they did reposition quite well to deal with the push from the Greedfords, they are now hopelessly out of position to try and push onto A. The battleship took full advantage of that and pushed forward, now guarding the A point quite aggressively, and what's left of Mildly's Greedfords have now repositioned in that trench there by A to deny it as well. Spy Eye does attempt to send a gun camper here to B, although it gets detected and annihilated here. You can see it was Notes' beamstone there, which is now pivoting pretty aggressively through that little side there between B and E. We will see what happens with that.
So many different ships going on around here. Levy kind of hanging back in the OSP's deploy zone right now. They're guarding E point against Solace, potentially pushing through here. At the same time, the battleship much more aggressively positioned, trying to capitalize and get onto those liners if it can get arc.
Unsuccessful strike from Battery Squadron there. Attempts to get rockets out on this beamstone here. Whiffs most of them. That is unfortunate. Only a couple hits is not enough to disable the beamstone.
Does deprive it of some of its health bar, but nothing it can't recover from. Let's take a look at Cosmic Eradicator and their munitions count, shall we? They still have got 8 torpedoes and 24 piranhas and 8 spearfish. So in terms of strike, they have some, but that's not going to be enough to really threaten the battleship. I think their best call at this time is to try and take out these beam destroyers and then just have the battleship with a single heavy asset left. Ooh,
Levy probably
heading on a second Fulcrum flight here, getting beamed.
Yep. If Fulcrum, Cosmic probably not paying attention to Fulcrum here, as that entire squadron is going to get annihilated by that beamstone. Yep.
Gone.
Anyway, probably a little bit of a skill issue from Levy right now, pivoting down. They need to push over the top to support their liners into the A point there.
Havoc flight 100 mil will clean up the Cringe Capper that headed towards A. Good usage of the bombers here. 100 mil is incredibly cheap just to bring as a checkbox. 1 point in your more line. It's very effective.
Let me check something. It would be really funny if Cosmic has 100 mil HEHC. Ooh, if
actually, 100 mil HE going after the wrong one of these, they will actually get some bombs on target.
Oh, no, those are bombs.
Hang on.
Ooh.
Some good impacts there on. That's enough to kill it.
That kills it. And there's
bombs
going
out here.
Those ones are going to miss, though, as that Axford has radar drives and just able to dodge.
All right, here's the next bomb strike coming in, potentially drifting into it.
Will this be enough?
That is going to be a lot of damage. No restorers, so half the guns on this thing going to take.
No restores. Yeah. It's crippled, but not out. Cosmic would have also gotten Viz on that Axford.
Comes around the 100 mil.
Will this do enough damage to disable this Axford?
Shouldn't be enough to break damage thresholds, but still enough to red out a little health bar.
But the damage can add up as Havoc is just going to withdraw. Cosmic knows that that thing is armor stripped and will likely be sorting something to deal with that. A point now suddenly a lot more open than it was before, although the battleship is still there. Levy needs to start. Is that another bomb out? More bombs out from the squadron.
They're going to find the belly gun, depriving this thing of its offensive power.
Another mission-killed Axford. Yeah, A is a lot more open than it used to be now. There's still a couple beamstones overwatching
Terror Mark 61's all that's left on these.
See the loss of ANS's air wing here really starting to add up here as those strikes start to get through. Unfortunately, OSP really deathballing here in a really bad position. Levy pivots downward and probably shouldn't have done that. They probably should have been pushing over the top.
Levy just not able to get into arc for this. They are grouping up with their liners, so if OSP decides to just kind of shove it right now that most of the Axfords have either been seen off, crippled, or just otherwise in a bad position outside of the combat zone, OSP's Death Ball could realistically just surge through the middle of the map and take this. Beam Destroyers are still a threat, but
they need to do that, though, is the thing. Right now, they're just kind of sitting there. Levy pumping the brakes. OSP needs to push here. I don't know what they're probably trying to coordinate a push right now.
I
But
think
they need
OSP's
to...
lacking sensor awareness is a big thing. If you look at it, they've got a lot of their assets.
Another bomb out
rock.
from Havoc. Another bomb out from Havoc. They still have bombs in there. That is another hit in the Axford into the core region there. Still does have a couple of those secondary batteries still firing, so this Axford is still a threat to cappers. But yeah, OSP needs to begin pushing here. The liners from Cosmic potentially starting to push out here. Levy also kicking on
One of the liners
thrusters,
from
probably
Cosmic
starting to
is
push out and
crippled. The other one is intact. It only has 4 teams, so it will take a while to repair. Also, the lack of DC complex means they don't get the speed or repair bonus.
Havoc Squadron just chilling in the open. Now they're on RTB right now. There they go.
Might be a pathing issue. This does occasionally happen depending on the off trees of the map. Thankfully, we have a implementation. So if they take, I believe it's 150% of the return time, they will just teleport back to base. There's a nice little catch there. So we'll see if they get stuck on the
Cosmic
rock or
has
not.
a Dragoon Squadron flanking over east side right now, probably trying to find that beamstone that annihilated all of their fighters. Meanwhile, yeah, it's really on
top
to
of the map going towards D point with a capper here. Might try and sneak
oh, no.
that back cap.
Havoc Squadron getting beamed on their return flight. They're on RTB pathing right now. They cannot evade that.
Ooh, that's going to be rough. Not that much left in terms of strike, but same time, losing bombers for free, never a good sign. 4 bombers getting equipped now. Havoc Flight takes another loss there. And another one.
Another one. Yeah, the beam is going to mop up Havoc. Unfortunate.
Solus able to capitalize on that. 450 shots out. AP rounds
here we go.
loaded.
Here's
That's
the push. Here's the push that we assumed was going to happen. Levy pushing up with the Acellos. Target lock on that beamstone. The beamstone firing its beam reveals itself. That is 450 AP though going into this. There's the switch to HE. Levy gonna try and zone out these beamstones while Cosmic does the sacrifice play
on
with
one
the
of
liner.
those, potentially trying to go for a punch out in the drive section or something. Otherwise,
all
their
they
shots
need to
just
do
missing.
is knock out the beam. They really want to do HE.
May
Perhaps not
just
realizing
be
that one of
a
them's
fire
firing
order
AP.
misallocation.
It appears, yep, OSP is now beginning their push here, realizing that...
Rocket strike from the shuttle, gonna find it in the flank. Guts that destroyer.
Knocks out that beamstone. Mildly still has a beamstone guarding A. It is not detected. It is starting to pivot out right now. The Acellos, though, will those Acellos be enough to deny? The Acellos pulling high. They're gonna get out of arc of that beamstone. Mildly
Cosmic
is
Eradicator
detected.
sends
Beam
their
is prepping to
basically
fire.
combat ineffective liner onto the 8
Spy
point
also
here.
pushing out as well. 250s were firing at that that beamstone here. The battleship doing its best to try and deny A. The liner is heavily damaged. This thing, it's
Beam
not going to
destroyer
be
spotted as it tries to guard A
Yep.
point. Those 450
More
shots are going to fly
that's
out.
450 AP going into it. But its beam is turning. It's going to try and deal with the Ruddle instead of A. Trusting the BB to deny A here. Will it be enough is the question.
Bombard flight
Meanwhile,
on approach
Cosmic,
towards A point. They've got themselves torpedoes loaded. Here's the glitter bomb.
the liner goes down. The liner goes down. It was severely injured. The 450 from the
Heartbreak
battleship
here.
able to
The
finish it up.
singular pike that could, running down these bombers with his superior speed.
Those are the
gets into
last.
combat.
That's the last of ANS's bombers. And the Ruddle gets a double kill. The other beamstone killed. One
Goes to
beamstone
show the
still
power of
active
these
on
rocket assets
ANS,
against destroyers
and all of
when
a
flanked.
sudden, the game has begun again. The BB flanking towards A to try and deny it. Cosmic
Battleship
sending
steps
their still
on.
happy.
Rocket backpack getting into position here from Spy Eye as their
Ooh.
250s are going down.
Reading the rocket backpack here, mildly flanking their crippled beams or Axford onto the point, trying to deny it with what they have left. The match
Rockets
is
are
suddenly
queued
begin here.
to
It
fire.
is
The
up
turrets
to
are turning. The backpack is sprung.
Rockets
Whole
out.
bunch of launches here from the backs.
friendly fire the liner almost. As
Front
they
of the
begin to
battleship
make
will
purchase
take
into
light
that axe
damage.
or the BB. Will it be enough, though, to get through this? The Acellos have pivoted fire. All they need to do. C point getting captured in the back. The beamstone's gone as Spy Eye sends a cringe capper here. A cringe capper
D
sent
point
in to
about
deny
to be
that
capped as well as Solus looking to step onto that. Both teams trading their naturals at this state. Rocket liner is, I believe, heading hold
contested.
locked or something. They need to rotate
Need
this
to
thing and
pivot,
get the
yep.
broadside shot in a second. Battleships and Axfords on here. The Axford, mostly a decoy, has a little bit of
Rockets
fire.
without a fire order. There go the rockets. into the broadside of this BB. Spy Eye was waiting for the right moment as all those rockets are going to slam into the side of this thing. Defender's doing a pretty good job of mopping up a lot of those, but that is going to be a lot of damage that goes into this battleship all of a sudden.
Weakening the armor is definitely a state here to enable 250.
A flank from Cosmic from below with their healthy plasma obelisk here as this BB suddenly gets TOT'd from multiple angles. Dagger now going to ANS as Solus does step on. That ship is on sensors. All that's left is the carrier over here to deny that. The carrier has a deck gun. Cosmic needs to pivot that deck gun over to Dagger immediately. Meanwhile, Assassin also strikes as well on both targets. Torpedoes and rockets.
Torp's going to be the end of that battleship as it is
battleship
crippled.
Is
and a reactor bloom to top it off! There's no armor on this point anymore.
A reactor bloom annihilates the squadron that was coming in for the bomb follow-up. Blooms onto Spy Eye. Spy Eye likely swapping to HE right now.
100
Holy
mil liner
shit.
from below
This
against
match
strip armor capitals.
After a long time of nothing happening in this game, everything has started to happen all at once. ANS taking A, C point being contested. There are 2 combat effective ships on the point, no one wanting to spend anything there. The Levy now moving onto the point to get the kill here. Dagger does go to ANS there. Cosmic does pivot the deck gun over to the ship on Dagger. 100 mil coming out from Spy Eye's offensively armed orbital sensor tug. Very nice tech there. Dagger, though, will be held by ANS. Will ANS be able to hold on to these points for long enough for their points lead
Solus
to carry them to
trying to commit support now onto the 8 point, but little too late on that. Their RPF rounds will hurt these strips.
The Axford is gone, and the Axford is also going to reactor bloom. In 50 seconds here, the BB completely gutted. The Acellos with nothing stopping them. The Acellos need to start pivoting about on to Solus's Axfords, which are now pushing in. Spy Eye kills Notes' last beamstone here. Holy shit, everything's happening all at once.
As both sides just full commit to this A rush, and the entire game just completely flipping around here. Hard to say exactly who's taking the better of this.
Axford is
ANS, I think, might just be out of it, actually. Taking a look at the score count here.
We will see if they have enough to hold on. Dagger being resecured by OSP here as they step back on. You can see Cosmic is flanking their 100 mil obelisk towards C to retake it. Cosmic is sending one of their cappers from C to B to try to put pressure on that. We do have 2 cringe cappers on a Boxer, though. You can see here Iris and Notes are flank speeding.
There's
back
Reactor Bloom on the 8 point once
hold.
again, briefly blinding and illuminating
that battleship
everyone.
Is gone. The liner taking significant damage, though, on A. As it goes CIC down, the Axfords now pushing in. Levy needs to start pivoting fire onto those Axfords, stop them from getting onto A. One of them is the one that's flanking to A is broadside on. Does Levy know? Levy needs to swap fire to that one immediately in order to stop the ACAP attempt here. These Acellos are perfectly healthy.
Levy gets the bow onto the one that actually has guns, able to tank hits effectively.
There's the C-cap going off. E-cap being captured by ANS here as they send a empty cringe capper onto E right next to the Acellos. Levy needs to split up those Acellos.
Night Flight is going to find a capper in the back line with some size 1 saw strike there.
If they can get a strike on that Boxer capper, they can potentially take B here. Still anyone's game. This one's going to come into the last second.
872 on the board for ANS does put them ahead of the 686 for OSP.
A is at pretty big risk of flipping here as the healthy Axfords pivot on. The liner that was on the point is pretty crippled. It got reactor bloomed on multiple times. The Acellos are going to be forced
target
to
now,
stay
as you
on,
said.
Yep. They're going to be forced to stay on E.
Spy Eye trying to go to ground, but needs to step onto the 8 point to contest here. C-cap is going to stay neutral as
Spy Eye needs to
just
split
nothing
here
there
to deal with these Axfords. Getting 450 HE into the belly of that Axford, though. How much strike does Cosmic have left? Cosmic, out of strike, does have some 100 mil. C point being contested as the carrier steps onto the point. ANS is going to hold
Carrier is taking a lot of damage from that 100 mil liner, but it's tanking pretty well right now. A lot of empty space in this. It's going to take a while to burn through.
ANS, all they need to do is hold on to that points advantage and see if they can tick over on their 2 cap they have here.
Situation looking like it is currently a 3 cap. E point is contested as Levy will step onto that to prevent the Axford and capper.
This Ruddle on Boxer is empty. There needs to be a strike on Boxer if OSP takes the point and wants to take the point here. I believe that OSP needs OSP needs a 5 cap here, I think. As
They
unfortunately,
will need...
Cosmic skill issuing. The liner moving away from C. The Levy is not dead. A under threat as Levy just commits to holding. Yeah,
a
Levy
smidge from being capped there.
Is that Axford's going to step onto A and begins to cap the point. The liner on A completely combat incapable right now.
Yeah, liner is missing it. No, it has its magazine. This one has complex.
This might be
rockets
a last
coming out
second
here.
throw.
Yeah, what the hell is with these rockets?
Second throw from. This might be a last second throw.
A-cap
from OSP
is secured here. Solace is beat up pretty bad. E point is
that liner.
ANS holding B and C point. I think will win them the game here.
That liner's not going to be able to hold. Yeah, that liner's not going to be able to kill the carrier. This is going to be a last minute victory from ANS. There needs to be a strike
unless they can
on
get this
something.
cap in a second. Wait, hang on. C point gets the
There
snipe
goes the
on the
C-cap.
weapons.
There goes the C cap. That gives them time. That gives them time to get a strike out on Boxer.
Yep. OSP
There's a
will secure
KBU 15
here.
strike out on Boxer. Night Squadron flanking over the top. This may be it. That capper on Boxer
If Iris is not moving, then these bombs will find them.
If that happens, OSP is going to secure the 5 cap here and might be able to win. What needs to happen right now is Levy needs to send one of those Acellos flank speeding towards A ASAP to make sure that Axford doesn't take the point. That liner is not going to be able to hold.
Bombers coming in now. Night Squadron is on target. Do they have commit order? Yes, they do.
That chip is not moving. That chip is not moving. The bombs are out.
KB-15s are
be
small.
A kill? This might be the clutch.
Chaff is popped automatically. They try and move the last second, and one of them is just barely going to miss.
Knight still has bombs, though. 6 bombs follow up. They wait for it to dodge, although they do...
Too close on the approach angle there. Can't get the command off. They're trying to go for it. They need to do a pullback and return.
A strike onto the Axford at A ensures that OSP will take A. These bombs need to strike onto this thing now. If
score
OSP
count right
has
now,
a chance at winning.
OSP with a 4 cap, I believe, will actually win this so long as they hold on to it. Bomb attempt goes off there. Night Squadron, I think, is too close for the bombs to release. Yes, they go for a pass,
no.
but
Night
miss.
Squadron needs to back off a bit to get that through.
All right,
this is
taking a look.
An
E-point cap is safe.
Match.
A-point cap is potentially under threat. Liner is pretty beat up. Same time, though, okay, 100 mil from Cosmic Eradicator is going to clean up on the 8-point side.
Axford, yeah. ANS calling GG.
Yep, that's going to be it. No way back in for them. That will mean that Fence takes it.
There's the surrender. Freakbob's Fenthouse with a last-minute victory here on Tombstones as they take this little match here 2-1. Incredible game. Nail-biter to the very end. This was probably the best tournament game I have seen in a very long time.
This certainly was a match.
From both sides there as... Oh my god, that push from OSP nearly came too late for them to retake things as they are just barely able to take the cap points in time. ANS bled so heavily on assets there. That battleship dies in an incredibly quick time once everything commits onto it. And, oh my god, what even happened there?
Such a strange game. The quad Axford greed push underneath the map, the reactor blooms, the strange fights, Levy rotates down, the bombers attempting, the sky's a mess of fighters as both carrier players go at each other. Truly a comedy of error series is just a million things happen in many different ways.
Notes with the ASF Levy gets... Pretty much all of their fighter engagements were unfavorable, as they just get bled out on their air support, leaving all of the Beamstones and all of the Capitals, which have no defenses against Strike, completely vulnerable. We saw that Cosmic pulled over 50k damage with that pretty much pure Spearfish and a little bit of Torpedo.
Torps pull a respectable amount of damage against some of the targets.
As they are able to just hit those priority targets. We saw without the loss of the sensor assets as well from the carrier, those being the 2 Sundials, allows multiple Ruddles to get behind on ANS there. Very, very decisive hits into those Beamstones there. And then
such a strange game, just overall.
This one was back and forth the entire time. A little bit worried there. OSP gained a really big advantage very early on. but unfortunately, their push almost came too late. They deathballed their low A and just didn't do much. Levy, with those Acellos, was out of position for most of the time. In retrospect, Levy should have probably split those Acellos a little bit earlier there, although it did work out for them in the end. A was actually at pretty big risk there of swapping back to A&S late game, as that Axford gets onto the point. The lucky rocket strike from both a Ruddle in conjunction with the remaining rockets on the liner did manage to kill it enough for to buy them time, as Cosmic did send their last 100 mil liner to support A. This one was a back and forth the entire way. Multiple things that could have decided the match happened, and that was just one of the greatest tournament matches I've ever seen.
I don't know how to call that one. As halfway through the game, I was just trying to figure out where half the ships were, as everything happened at once all of a sudden. We're going to go into post-game discussions now in the general channel, so we'll hop over there now, and we'll see you in a second.
Did their best to play badly, and that's not shade, by the way. I'm not being toxic.
No, that last game was an absolute nail biter, bro. I was actively crashing out for like half of it because I was spectating.
My team had some interesting things to say.
That one was one of the closest tournament matches I have seen, like, ever. That one was really good.
We've had actual draws in the tournament.
I do love how the first two matches were both extremely one-sided in opposite directions, and then we had like almost perfectly even on the last one. That was beautiful.
Yeah, there was like a minute in between when Team 2 would have had enough points and Team 1 would have had enough points to win.
Yeah.
Dude, that one Ruddle in the back line, man.
Got a double kill on those beamstones guarding A. That was devastating for A&S. I think that was probably one of the deciding factors. That was one of the deciding factors, no doubt.
Yeah.
The sheer RNG in that last game as well, just fighter engagements, the random reactor bloom to start off on the Axford's low, everything adding up in the comedy of errors series, I'm just calling it.
I don't think honestly fighter engagements were that RNG though. It was one side had fighters with missiles against one side that just didn't, and it
normally you see coil gun Tontos do a lot better than that, even if the opponent does have missiles. Notes even called it out through the match. It's like, what are my coil toes doing? I don't think you've ever had a favorable engagement in that entire game.
They just kind of decided that they didn't want to shoot anything and just flew around in circles. Which, you know what? I gotta respect it. My team is pretty similar.
The quad 250 Axford push low, although you did lose a lot of those Axfords pretty quickly in that push. You did some of them did survive enough, and also you did knock the entirety of OSP's frontline out of position, as even the Acellos up top did pivot low to try and deal with you. If that push from OSP came a little bit later, that would have been GG for them, and your point advantage would have carried you to victory. There was a point there where the entirety of OSP's frontline was just kind of sitting there in one spot after all of the Axfords had effectively been killed, and we were wondering as spectators if a push was going to happen.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I think all teams played really well, or that's not true. I shouldn't lie to you. But I think everyone did their best. I think that was a really great match to play and watch.
Yeah.
I was really hoping those Axords would push on to E so I could just farm them for free damage.
No, there's no reason for me to. I was waiting for you guys to push me because we're limping over here and your entire front line is there. So we were just like waiting for it and it didn't happen. So we're just like, okay, so we just wait.
So
I do very much
lost if they pushed later, but they should have been pushing sooner. And they could have.
I do very much appreciate the rocket liner. We had Liz was in our chat as well that pointed out the rocket liner and was definitely a big fan of it. Good job on that, Spy Eye. The BB was definitely not expecting that.
Dude, rocket liner on Tombstone is always tech for Cap Fleet because there's so many angles where you can just approach A and not be spotted until it's way too late for a capital that's like trying to die on A. It's just free value. And
dude, the rocket liner was fine. Like I was fine on A until like two of my defenders decided, oh yeah, let's just not turn with the heading command. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with rockets is like the defenders will clean up early, but once it gets close enough, then the PD logic just dies. Like,
No, it wasn't PD logic. Like, two of my
literally-
defenders were just straight up out of arc during the second salvo. Like, the first one just got
yeah.
intercepted.
The flank underneath from the 100 mil obelisk also did not help that battleship survivability. I've never seen a battleship melt that fast before. That thing died real fast.
It's it has no it's a less than 2k BB, I think.
Yeah, I got hit with 8
campers.
torpedoes at close range is what killed that battleship, not the rockets.
Speaking
rockets
of
Empty.
speaking of RDC, fake Cosmics 100 mil obelisk have no reinforced DC lockers. It's double storage and all like rapids and stuff.
Double
and I
storage,
don't know-
double
Not
basic
necessary.
CIC. They are super
I don't know.
swish.
I don't know if you noticed in that first
Bullshit.
game
They're on the other side
Gold
of the
Rush,
liners. It's
that-
the best way to build them.
that torpedo bomber strike actually K-killed that liner.
Yeah.
Because
That's
it had
how
no
it works.
reinforced
They're not
stores.
supposed to zombie. They take a hit, they die. That's how it works.
Like, take one rapid out and upgrade a.
Like,
No.
get yourself a complex. Treat your team.
Because Cosmic has said fine, I'll do it myself to liner balance.
I wouldn't call that balance. I saw one of them get absolutely eviscerated by torpedoes. I cannot. It didn't even have a comms jammer either. Like,
Yeah,
that
I was
liner just
trying
got
to, like-
eviscerated.
One of them on E, I was like, oh shit, there's bombers. I got a comms jam for this and Killjoy. And like it almost worked.
All right. In terms of post game, we have anything else to cover? As I believe we were slated to have another set of matches today.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
about half an
Started-
hour
As for
they're
the-
supposed to start up.
As for
I need to
the
start
first
sending
two
people the
games,
password.
I do think that we did see the power of the R2 CUDA contraption against players that aren't ready for it, at least.
Yeah, ANS brought, 10 beamstones in that first one, and they had basically zero battle impact.
I
Just
want to say there was
yeah.
2 intact at the end of the game, and 2 of them that was mission
In all
killed.
fairness, the deciding
Yeah.
factor in the first one was, I believe, the team coordination in Freakbob's Fenthouse. Like, you always just had ships in position to take advantage of simultaneous attacks on those beamstones. The 100 mil
Yeah.
liners and the 250 liner did absurd work against them in conjunction with Tethys in the carrier. It just kind of worked out. You kept catching them. There were so many moments in that engagement there in the first one where you caught out beamstones and their beam is just facing the wrong direction.
Yeah, I think the lack of sensor assets really hurt the beamstones. 'Cause you can't
Yeah.
P-point.
Well, it's also a purely defensive build on a 3 neutral map. If you don't get cap control immediately, you don't have the option to push into your opponents. You can't push liners with beamstones. You're just gonna fucking die. And so that's really what happened there. Is that the spinners and the shuttles had their little scuffle. Things went in favor of the shuttles, and then all that was left is defensive assets. And
A lot of that was
you
also
can't- you take
good.
control.
The monitor ball had really good yub support for the early cap plays on that first Gold Rush map.
Oh, yeah.
With conjunction with the R2 Kudas, which secured OSP the points early on.
Adding into that, the battleship had to go very high to try and flank around the monitors, try and push them into the defensive destroyer array, and it just never could get the pressure it wanted.
The second one, I think, was very much a Freakbob's Fenthouse just forgot how to play as a team.
Oh no, that was
There-
we kind of decided it would be really funny if we made this go to game 3 to make Bongi stay here longer.
Why did you you deliberately threw? You deliberately threw.
Yes.
Are you?
What? I don't know what you're saying.
I'm not sure I believe that. I saw those missile strikes.
We didn't deliberately through. We just decided to
Yeah.
take
It
less
wasn't a
optimal fleet.
deliberately throw. I did play horrible, like not on purpose.
There were
but
multiple
I think you
moments-
saw Spy Eye's fleet, right?
Yeah, the well, Spy Eye did work with that. Spy Eye was the one that did the
Spy Eye
most
did,
work
like,
on ANS.
actual-
Like,
Spy Eye did cook with that thing. Apparently,
I was telling
somehow.
y'all, it was tech. The SAW S2 CLs are tech.
How
the
did you
Voxels had
actually
30K damage
afford
in that
those?
game.
Like, really?
It's like their SAW S2, so they're like 5 points a piece, and then I just like skimped out on most of my DC, and also no
your
comms
DC
jammer.
was still fine for those CLs. Like, genuinely, how did you budget that?
I'm just better, I guess.
But yeah, the second one was very much defined by oops, we keep mispositioning our ships. OSP had several moments there where the monitors were nowhere near the Cello guards, and they were on track too, and I'm a little bit confused as why Tethys didn't take advantage of that.
Yeah.
But then, and then the push from Iris into orbit to kill the BB, both me and Neko looked at that and were just like, that's going to come back to bite them in the ass, those monitors just being in orbit.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to go nearly as far as they did, which is why I ended up passing missiles like directly through them.
The Acello killer is going straight through me and getting farmed by a single Pavise was really funny.
Yeah.
We did catch that on camera where pretty much the
that
entire
was
salvo save one was
unfortunate
Pavise.
from Tethys.
Yeah.
I will say as well, I kind of threw at the BB because I kept reading 3 kilometers as 8 kilometers, so I thought, I'm fine, I don't need to retreat.
Did the Viz not like clue you
They're
in?
very different. Those ranges are not. They're not like those ranges are very different. What?
Thank you, Leviathan, for once again proving that Nebulous players in reading are, well, there's not much overlap there.
The funny thing
Honestly-
about that BB fleet was I sent Levy the wrong BB fleet. I had a different 4GC spy BB fleet I was gonna send them, and I'm like, oh wait, shit, that's in the different folder. Oh well, close enough.
Okay,
Also,
once again,
I
we've had
was-
2 of the 3 games. Someone has provided their team incorrect tech. Great.
I mean, it's not like a bad fleet. I just was gonna give her a different one.
This is why setting your fleets up and maybe doing literally any practice before the actual tournament match is usually a good idea.
No, we did
This
practice.
team was. They
it
were in
was just
scrims
know-
constantly.
wrong
We
practice.
did technically practice.
Did you really?
Sounds like it takes time. We don't have time for that.
Escape, do you want to bring up the image?
Yeah, I
mean,
have to
do we
maintain my
count
like 24
The
fleets
image
I have
of
for the
the
tourney.
Minecraft
do we
image.
count last night's scrim as practice? Whatever the hell
Yeah,
I
that
was
was.
going to say the one where it was 50 billion miles.
Dude,
So you
that
practiced,
was
but you
like
didn't have the correct
that was like
flights? 2 or
asleep at the
3
wheel
scrims
gameplay,
delayed.
honestly.
All right, we're losing the
no,
plot
I
a little bit
threw
here,
my-
but is there anything else people would like to discuss for this 3-game series before we kind of wrap up the recordings?
Wasn't my fault.
I'd like to say that this tournament not being single elim is terrible because I lost and now I have to play more games.
I will say Solus did a very good job game 2. Like, most of the reason that I was plotting off late is because I got jump scared by a liner like 6k for my Yub assets.
Yeah, that liner push went completely unpunished.